Right, today I want to explore a couple of the options in the forestry section. I'm just walking past the farm and checking whether we can start farming it. I've disabled the automatic farming, so this is just sitting there, and I'll manually start it when I see that these carrots are ripe. So the farms are filling up quite nicely. We've now got full fields of carrots, wheat and potatoes, but we're still only partially full with the beetroot. They're beginning to build up, but they won't build up fully until this field is complete. I've built this little bridge over to the land here, so we're now on the mainland, and created a little walkway so that you can look out over the bay. Probably build an expensive hotel here and charge phenomenal rates for that. And eventually we'll come back into a section which I was clearing earlier in order to find dirt. So we're now here. So one of the areas that one of the options still left is to fence an area of natural forest. So I wanted to find an area of natural forest that looks quite promising up there, and let's see if we can get that one organised. It's not a huge area, but it will do, just to show the general principle. So the way it works is that you can ask the turtle to put a fence around a particular area. It has to be rectangular, it can't be random shapes, and then it can not only go through the forest and dig out all the trees, leaving the other plants, grasses, flowers alone, and then replant the exact same trees back in the position they were originally in. So it's quite a nice sort of conservative way of doing things. So I think we'll start that here. So I'm just going to mark it with torches to decide how big to make it. I think this would be a good starting point here. So it's 12 up into this edge. Okay, 12 is good enough. And let's see how far we want it this way. So we'll place our turtle down where the torch is and turn it to the left, because everything that I do starts working from the bottom left of a square or a rectangle. So obviously we want to work it that way 12 and that way 18. Right, let's run TK. So we've got forestry, and then we want to do fence or wall of forest. So 5 and 6 work together here. Once we have fenced or walled around the area, we can harvest and replant it and preserve it as we go. So let's choose 5. So you can see the diagram shows the turtle in the corner here. We can put optional barrels in the corners to collect. So if you've got a large amount of trees, the turtle can dump the wood in these various barrels as it goes round. So that might be useful. They're probably not that useful in this 12 by 18, but I'll put them in anyway just to show you how it works. So the T's represent the trees, B's barrels, and the F is the fence or wall with the turtle in the corner. So let's start that up. So the width of the area we've already measured as 18, and the length as 12. Torch we'll put as 8. Do we want storage barrels in the corners? As I said, yes for this time. So we now need to add some walls. So let's put those in. I'll just chuck those in, we don't need to be precise. 8 torches, let's chuck those in, and 4 barrels. So it's now going to create the enclosure using these tiled walls. So as you can see, it's placed a barrel. We did see the fencing operation in over in the tree farm when I fenced round it there. So it's the same code, same routines are being used here. The only difference is that it's putting these barrels in the corners. But as before, it will go up and down the contours of the land. So I won't be able to climb over that because I'm in creative mode. But let me just switch. Okay. Now, unfortunately, this tree is being left outside of the area, but that won't matter. It's only to demonstrate the principle. So it's now going to climb up the wall there. Another barrel going in. So there's already one been placed this side. Looks like it ran out of torches. I didn't put enough in. There we go. So that's done. Yes, it did. It ran out of torches. So there should have been one here. So that was a bit of a miscalculation. So it's always wise to perhaps put more than is required in. Let's put one there just to be on the safe side. So that's now ready for processing to cut down any trees and so on. So let's come out of, no, I shall stay in creative mode, and we'll move this turtle into position. So we want to go so that it's parked on one of the barrels. So if we do a left, forward, down, that should do it. That's on there, and we can take all this stuff out now. Toolkit again, and this time we're doing the forestry 2 and the final one, which is the last one to be investigated, which is harvest and replant forest. So we'll do 6. Similar diagram. We've got this fencing, we've got the turtle on the inside, there's barrels in the corner, various trees. As it says here, turtle on barrel, so everything's in the right place. We're on the barrel. Enter to continue. It wants a chest. I think that's for crafting purposes. 64 sapling optional. I won't bother at this stage. It'll have to find its own. And there we are. And so that will now just check where it's situated and then start to go up. Now, interestingly, it's going up here because it came across a what do they call these things? Vines. So it's kind of unfortunate that they were there because it's now wasting fuel going up and down the vines, but that's something perhaps to take account of, that we perhaps should have destroyed them. Of course, they'll only keep coming back, but anyway. So it's when you see it placing a chest, that usually means it's about to craft something. But I missed that, so we'll catch it next time. So there's a single jungle one here. Now the chances of it picking up a jungle sapling from a single block are pretty slim. That's just why it was asking for saplings at the beginning. So had we given it a suitable sapling, but you'll notice how it's left this fern, it hasn't dug it up. It's just checking up. It knows that there is leaves above it. Right click on. No, there's the jungle wood, but there's no sapling, so it can't unfortunately plant anything, but we can always substitute a different type of sapling in here, which it would have done had it got any in its inventory. So it's going over these poppies here, or roses, or whatever they are. So as you can see, it's not breaking up the landscape. It does break leaf blocks. They're not recognised as sort of legitimate vegetation. So it's going to harvest this entire tree. it will leave the side logs, so that apart from the first piece, it won't traverse along the branch to get any more. Yes, I did. Okay. Nope, again, no sapling. That's really annoying. Okay, so I've learnt that. I shall now make sure that in future I do place some saplings in, otherwise we're going to strip the forest out and there won't be anything to replace it. This is definitely different from previous versions of Minecraft. Oh, there's a bit of luck. And finished. There wasn't any point sending it back that way, so okay. So I'm just returning to the walled forest that we have created up here. So I've been back and tidied it up. So I've put a fence gate in to allow us access to it. And I added a couple of saplings to replace those that were not, unfortunately, replaced. I've also removed some of the rose bushes, so we've got quite a pleasant garden. I'd also taken some logs out of this barrel here, so I'll just show you what we've got. So I got some birch and jungle logs and some oak as well, so that was from what was here originally. I've taken some of the flowers out, and I've replaced some of the saplings. I have not bothered with a jungle one, so we've now got quite a nice forested area. It's regrown, and so at any point we can place a turtle on any of these corners and set it going, and it will harvest the palm trees, but replace or not dig all of the plants that are in there. So that looks quite pleasant now. I've also tidied up the pathway back to base by fencing off my walkway rather than having it edged by blocks. So that looks a lot nicer. And I've also reset the mining turtle down here to put it back on automatic. There was a minor bug which made it not always, if it got interrupted as a chunk was unloaded, it would not always find its way back when the chunk was reloaded and it restarted. But it's not 100%, but it's okay. So let's just check what it's waiting, 6 out of 7, so that will start up fairly shortly. So in the meantime, I think we need to start looking at the next series of tutorials. So if I go to the toolkit here and see what there is, so we've completed mining, forestry and farming. We've done a few odds and ends in the canal bridge and walkway, but I think the next one to tackle might be the obsidian nether and end. So